Hi, I'm John from WorkshopAddict.com. Today I want to talk to you about Bosch's GCM12SD Axial Glide Miter Saw. That's a mouthful. What makes this different from most other miter saws is what really drew me to it. I've always wanted a slide miter saw, but I didn't want to sacrifice benchtop space. A regular sliding miter saw takes up a lot of room front to back, and that's usually why you see them on a mobile cart. Well, this one Bosch came out with solves that problem, and that's totally why I wanted to go to it. What makes this most unique, there's many features here, but what makes this most unique is this axial glide slide mechanism. As you can see, there's absolutely no rails that this rides on. It rides on two articulating arms in an X and a Y axis, which allows it to run really smooth. These arms are extremely strong, so there's no deflection left to right in this, and it rides really smooth. As a matter of fact, it rides so smooth that after they introduced this and they got it into some people's hands, there was some suggestions to slow the smoothness down. So what Bosch did afterwards is they came out with an adjustment right here where you can actually put a little extra tension on the glide, which I have because this has actually got some tension in it. It'll glide really smooth without it. There's quite a few other things that is different about this. First off is the upfront controls. That usually when you have a bevel miter saw, you've got to do all the beveling in the back section back here, but Bosch moved everything up front to make it real nice and easy. Let's take a closer look at this, and I'll see if I can hit as many points as possible why I really like this saw. First thing I want to show you on this glide miter saw is the upfront controls. This is one of the unique features with it. Acts pretty much the same way, only all your controls are up front, and they have some really unique features with this. To slide the miter saw back and forth to different stops, it's pretty simple. You unscrew it here. Underneath there's a lever that you lift up on. Then you have two options. If you push forward on this button, it'll snap it into place and it'll allow this to freely swing around the deck. So you can cut at any angle. And I believe this goes up to 52 degrees this way and a total of 60 degrees in the other direction, which is quite a bit more than typical miter saws. Usually they stop at 45 degrees. You also have another option where instead of pushing up on that, you can just hold the button down, let go, and it will stop at certain detents. This miter saw has 10 detents in it, so it's nice to be able to find a quick 45-degree angle, lock it into place, screw it down, and go. That's pretty unique. Well, it's not pretty unique. It's typical in a lot of them, but this one has 10 of them, so this is nice. Another thing I want to show you is the actual bevel. This is unique to most of them where the controls are up front. This one has a locking lever here where the adjustment is in the back of the saw for this, so if it's too tight you can adjust it loose, but you just flip this up, that releases the unit to be able to move. There's a button over here on this other side, a little dial. It'll allow you to go left 45 degrees up to 45, right up to 45, or you can swing it in another position where you can go 47 degrees freely in either side. So right now we've got it set to go 45 right. Moves right down into place. You can do your 45-degree bevel cuts. And then you can pull it back up, lock it back into place, and you're good to go. Here's the most unique feature with this that I've never seen it on another saw, but quite honestly I've never seen a saw this good before. You unlock this, there's a little button back here. If you spin it, this will allow you to move it into the crown mold setting. So this is something like 33.9 degrees. You don't have to figure it out. It's already set for a crown molding. So that's really kind of unique. I've never seen that before, but as I said, it might be typical. I've never dealt with a saw this nice. Again, just lock it back in when you're ready. So that's the upfront features. Really easy to use. Also prevents you from having to deal over the saw. And without the railings with this saw, since it's on the glide, you can stick it right up against a wall, not worry about controls back there, and really saves you some bench space. Okay, let's move on to something else. The saw has a lot of the same features other knife saws will have, where it has arms that slide out, so you have, if you're working with longer pieces, it's easier to handle. There's a little lock here to lock it into place. It has a really nice lockdown mechanism to hold your workpiece to the wood. Nice. The one thing about this is everything's very nicely built. It's very strong and sturdy. You also have stationary and mobile fences here. The stationary is the bottom part, the mobile fence up top. And I can't reach the controls, but this slides really smoothly. Back here on the saw, there's a little lock that makes this easier to transport if you do. When you lock this up like this, it will lock the saw in, so it will no longer glide, no longer moves. It's locked right into place, so now you can use it like a regular miter saw and take the slide mechanism out, plus it makes it easier to transport. So that's really nice that you don't have to move this and worry about it sliding all over the place. Dust collection on this system, this bag, typical. It's not going to catch a lot, but it catches a good amount. But you're going to have a lot of dust on the table, so I just got this here for demonstration purposes. I usually take this off and hook it up to a shop vac. And with the shop vac, it does a really good job. It doesn't leave much dust on the table, so that's nice. On the back of this, they give you an Allen wrench, and that is to adjust the glide mechanism. So it's nice and handy in case you want it smoother or with more resistance. You can pick that up and use it. Now let's move to the other side of the saw. Here's a really cool feature that I really like with the saw. I haven't had to use it yet, but I can completely see some potential for it. There's this little lever here. Slides back and forth. And in the top of it there's a hole. It's just a metal plate with a hole. And here's an adjustment screw. What this does is if you move this plate over, it covers the hole, and this adjustment screw sets your depth of your cut. You can use this to make it a permanent stop, so if you want to do some dado cuts, you can make it stop so you don't go all the way through the wood. You can rip through your wood this way and just keep moving it over and make dados. It's pretty neat. You don't have to worry about getting a dado blade going on your table saw. You could go ahead and use this every time. Standard other feature is locking the blade down. I usually do this in the shop just so you don't have this great big blade hanging up in the air, and it makes it a little safer. This motor mounted on the top here, and they do that with slide miter saws and stuff. Move it up top so you can get the full bevel back and forth. But if you look inside, this motor is driven by it's a belt driven motor, and it's a very nice belt. It's a ribbed belt, so it tracks in these grooves, and you don't have to worry about it falling out, and it really makes the saw blade track very well. So you can see this very sturdy, nice blade, nice belt. Shouldn't need to change it very often, but if you do, you should go to they suggest going to a Bosch dealer to have it replaced. But it looks like a simple enough change. There's 4 bolts holding the motor on there. Should be able to take the motor off, we'll drop it down and put a new belt on. But they do suggest taking it into a certified repair center to have that done. I don't expect to do that for years and years and years. So as you can see, the Bosch Axial Glide Miter Saw is one heck of a machine. I saw this come online on Amazon about a year and a half ago and just fell in love with it. I wanted to get my hands on this saw so bad, and I happened to get lucky, and I won this off of toolselect.com, and geez, I was running around the house just yelling and screaming. I was excited. This is everything I wanted it to be and more. I don't see me buying another miter saw pretty much for the rest of my life until this thing dies, and I don't expect it to be anytime soon. This will be my workhorse. Only thing that I gotta say is it's heavy, and you want that in a big saw like this. But unless you've got a mobile cart, this is going to be a stationary thing in my workshop. So I still keep my other 10-inch miter saw around, so in case I go outside or take it on the road somewhere, I can take it with me. But overall, this is going to be my workhorse for the workshop, and if you get a chance, try one of these out. You're really going to like it. So I'm John from WorkshopAddict.com. Talk to you later.